see him, really rise and shine to the position that he's at now. He's, had such a great career as a professional athlete. He's had a great career as owning his own basketball league. He's done so many amazing things in his lifetime. But what he's doing now is really exciting for us. This is where we got to collaborate and work together closely because, it's a space that I've been in for a long time. And he's now the president of the For Us By Us Network, which is a subsidiary of FUBU, the 33-year-old company that you guys know from Damon John, Jay Alexander, Carl Keith. And now John is running the network, running the studios, and bringing all of his high power resources and connections from all of his basketball days and all of his producing days to the network. And now we have a joint venture with them. So we are just super excited about everything we're creating together. We've shot a couple new shows this year with them. We're distributing lots of movies, TV shows, and so on with them as well through major platforms. So I'm going to let John explain more about it, but I want to give him a big warm welcome because we are so excited to have him today.
Woo, 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 woo. I have questions for John, but John, yes, what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, I know this is being recorded, Adora. And I want to say, make sure I get that recording of Christine's intro of me because I can't remember half of what she said. So I need to be able to start my conversations off with that intro. So with that being said, thank you, Adore, Christine, and the entire crew from the Divas, and thank you to everyone that's actually on this Zoom call. It's my honor to have an opportunity to speak to everyone today pertaining to this monetization of content, developing TV shows, et cetera, et cetera. Like that, there's a lot that goes into that, but I'm going to I'm going to give you a little background on what my day-to-day, as Christine was kind of giving a 30,000-foot overview. My day-to-day responsibilities are to oversee the network and the development, because we actually are one of the few groups that actually owns 100% their own network. I mean, in terms of broadcast network. My also other responsibilities on the studio side, because we also own a studio that produces the content for our network and other networks. So I oversee that development there in terms of bringing in new concept, new ideas, new visions to actually look at producing in the future. Also, my responsibility, and this is where it ties into the relationship that we have with the Divas Empire, is that our partnership is with production and distribution of content in terms of a collaboration, and which means that there's been several shows that have originated through the Divas, through the relationships that they have brought to us to collaborate with the producing of the shows, as well as distributing the shows on various platforms from Hulu.
I wish we had Perla's. I'm sorry I jumped in there, John. If someone wants to send me the link to Perla's little teaser, we could play a part of that, because Perla, the decor diva, you did a great show with her, and she is the one who launched the very first Diva Locals chapter, big personality. And I forgot, and Christine, we didn't say this, John, so we were already on WeTV and Travel Channel, but because of the partnership with John, that's why we're going on 15 different streaming platforms. Tubi, Peacock, Amazon, Google, all these different platforms.
Roku, you name it. Samsung, built into, our app is built into 25 million Samsung televisions coming up within the next 3 years. So it's automatically built in. So Adora, if you want to name a few more, I mean, you recite them better than I do.
Oh, I need some help there. But what I would say, one differentiator that's major, because we have lots of content creators, and whether you're just starting and you're thinking of the media you're creating on social media, or you're a person who is thinking or begins to get the seed of what would it look like to be on a TV show or to have my own show. This whole thing will be about how you monetize media. That's where we're going to go. And one of the first game changers was, not only did we realize people aren't watching Travel Channel or WeTV, we all go to Netflix or Prime or wherever we watch, right? And we stream it, most of us, but also being able to get distribution checks from the networks, because you're actually streaming in a way where they're going, we're going to pay you for the content, which is a game changer, in a
Huge game
really big
changer.
way. Big game changer, yes.
Huge game changer. And to kind of piggyback on what Adora just mentioned, is like the timing right now, to be able to monetize is at its highest level. On and especially with the relationships, and the situations that we're in. And basically in the concept of actually creating a show, a lot of times the most important thing, because this runs across my desk every day, is that everybody's got a great idea. And everybody thinks that this will be able to work. But then what's missing a lot of time is actually the business aspect, meaning that I tell people when they go into projects to make sure that the business is there before the creative comes into play. Meaning that you have your idea, you have your synopsis, you have your storyline, you have all those different elements in place. That determines whether you have something viable for a show. And as Christine would say, the big personality, that has to be attached with that. So once these things are in place, and then that next portion is making the decision on the production, right? Who's going to be the production partner in place? Because there's a million people out there that are actually producing content, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in a position to get that show seen or get it in front of the right eyes. So
I
that's
want to
Go
pop
ahead.
in one more place. So I know we have a few people in the room that are just starting to get on social media, or they're just starting their business. So some of you are going to be listening from, I already have an established business. I have, if I had more media, this would open all. And so you're tracking right with John. But I want you to think about this even from your social media standpoint. Are you showing your personality? He said big personality, right? So are you showing your personality? And then what is the monetization strategy? What are you leading people to? Because if you know that, then you can make more intentional content. And when it comes to who's the production team, that's maybe you, and that may look like what mic you're using or your iPhone or your lighting. But I still want you to think from this high level. That's the benefit of being in a room with someone that you wouldn't normally be in the room with. It's hanging out, and they've done multi-million dollar deals, movies, productions. All of our production is gleaned from it. Okay, if this may be your who, and this may open the door to you having your own show through us, but what can you glean from what he's saying that applies to what you're doing with your own business now? Does that make sense? And I want to appreciate all of you that are on camera, because again, we're sitting with someone who is outrageously successful, and you're sharing space, which is different than watching a podcast or watching something after. You're in the live, energetic transference, right? And yes, Yelly's like, bring it in, baby, bring it in.
And Adora, I want to say something,
Yeah.
and you made a great point. So in terms of, what's the purpose, right? What's the monetization look like? Is it for marketing? So it's a long-term situation if you're selling a product, right? Or if you're trying to market using the power of media to market your product, to market yourself, or is it to make money immediately off of your concept? Meaning that you're looking for a quicker revenue stream, right? Because there's different levels of revenue stream. You have the immediate revenue stream that comes with your show itself. And then you have product placement. And then you have sponsorship. And then you have your branding of your brand within there. So you have those three, what we call those three levels of monetization. You have the immediate, you have the intermediate, and then you have the long-term way to monetize from this. Because a lot of times people don't even look at it that way. They just look at the one vertical, okay, I'm going to monetize off of just what I'm getting paid for the show, but then you miss those other aspects, that come within it. And then on top of it is it's so much that comes with it. I know people that are monetizing 4 or 5 ways off of one show. They're actually engaging in interactiveness of selling their product within the show as the show is going. On there's QR codes that are set up within the show so people can actually purchase certain things as the show is going on. So there's at least 4 to 5 different ways that you monetize from content that wasn't available. But the most important thing is that when you get into this, you have to have the mindset that there's a beginning, middle, and an end with this situation, and you have to say to yourself that we promote owning your IP. That's very important to us, and I speak on that every day. Is that a lot of people get an opportunity to be on television or be parts of shows, but they don't own anything on there. So they're just getting one source of revenue as talent, being paid, but they're not able to monetize off those other things. So the only way that you are able to level up and monetize completely is if you own your content. And everything that we've done with the Divas, all is actually 4 shows. All the shows that we're doing and engaged with, every one of the people that were divas or associate divas or whatever that were doing the shows, they own all of their content. So they're going to monetize through those 4 or 5 ways. Oh, I forgot a big factor. Another factor, and Christine's aware of this, is that you actually can monetize from the music, which is what a lot of people forget about. It's like, oh, I got original music. I can put that within the show. There's a monetization path for that as well on there. So those are some of the things, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Adora.
No, I love it. And I hope I see you all taking notes. Geraldine, I saw you were on this call. If you could please reach out to Perla and just give me a sizzler clip. I would love to show that little clip with Perla, especially since she's one of our divas. I remember sitting with you in Brooklyn Chop House with Christine in New York before we struck our deal. And the thing that really stood out is monetize. Like the whole reason you guys do media is for the product placements, the other streams. Like that first stream is actually the last one on your mind. When you're thinking of a show, you're thinking of the sponsors. What else can we sell? Where does it move? And so when you think of producing your social media content or monetizing content in this way, think in that same way. I want to know from you, John, why do you believe media is the most powerful monetization tool in today's market?
Well, I feel that way is because, and especially if you're in a position to control it, for us, because we own our own network, what we control everything that's put up. right? So whatever the message is that we're trying to get out of the content, we control it. And because there's so many eyeballs available now, post COVID, going back right now is the most opportune time to take advantage of the most important thing are the eyeballs and the reach, which in our case, combined between all the platforms, we can reach 1.4 billion people worldwide. So that's why it's so important, because you can control the narrative that you put out.
You can control the narrative. And then here's the other thing. Some of you have probably seen these on social media where you see a celebrity salary versus an influencer salary, right? And the reason that's happened is all of the decentralization of being able to have our own platform. Well, that's happening in TV with John and what they've done to disrupt the industry, making sure that you're still controlling. Yellie's receiving it like the Holy Spirit is coming in, and we're in a TD Jakes place. I'm feeling that right now. I'm watching her receive it, and you're so my kind of person. I'm very like, oh, I got to move, I got to say things. And I'm loving being your witness. Thank you for being online. But the same thing is happening, and for the right people who go in to media in this way and get themselves positioned, social media is available for everyone, right? But for the people who are like, no, I want to have a TV show, I want to be on TV, from this strategy where you own your IP, you're going to see some major talents and people that come out of that, because the reality is we still want to sit down at the end of the day and kick up our feet and watch something on a bigger screen, right? And so,
How about this?
mhm.
How about this?
How about this?
Here's another big difference. In this climate, you don't have to be a mega celebrity influencer. You can just be an everyday person and you have an opportunity. This was non-existent 4 or 5 years ago. You had to have a big social media, you had to have a big name, you had to have all of these attributes. But now, because there's so much built in 1 or 2 episodes, all of a sudden the world knows who you are through media. You see, so before you had to have all these other things like, and 90% of the people that we're doing shows with never thought that they had the ability to have their own show. And I've had to convince people, it's like, well, it's all about you. It's about who you are. It's about your story. It's about your journey, and we make it in a compelling way that the world wants to follow you, to see your story, to see your journey, to see how things happen, and see how you engage with others and different things like this. So this is such a wide open position, is why I'm extremely excited, because I like to be the person that sees dreams come true. That's very strong for me. That's really part of what's in my DNA. That's what's part of us when we go by the acronym, which is for us by us, and that doesn't just dictate a nationality or whatever like this. This is for everybody. It's like we want to give people that opportunity that never thought that it would ever present itself, down there. So we don't go by FUBU, the clothing side, and that gain that $7 billion brand of FUBU. We're going by for us by us, because we want this opportunity to be for everyone. And this happens overnight, especially with these ladies on. They just keep me hopping. I've actually almost stopped my outside business just to pick up the phone for Christine Adore, Geraldine, Carissa, and some of the others, because I know it's always something exciting that they're bringing to the table.
Oh, what a compliment. Oh, I love that. I'm glad this is recorded. So John, when I need a little pep up, right, I'll listen to that part again. So what are 2 or 3 ways you've seen people turn a single media appearance into real revenue or business?
Well, I've seen it in a couple ways. Obviously, off of having a compelling show on there, that's one thing. I've seen opportunities for appearances because we put you on a platform where people know you. Now you're getting calls to make appearances where people are monetizing off of that. I've also seen people getting, brought on to other shows, that as guest appearances and different things where that's concerned. And obviously, I've seen a lot of brands want to turn and do collaborations because of the content and the personalities of the people that are within the show. So I actually just gave you four, and I know there's more than that. But yes, I've seen those ways that have had immediate impact from this.
Yeah, and as divas, we can see that 100% as diva cast, or even those of you, Sheila is a great example of someone who was just on set with us, but leverage that to say, I'm hanging out with these people that have a TV show. I can introduce you and potentially you'd be a good fit. And she moved her way into not only commissions, but authority and being on set with us. So soon, if she hasn't started already, she'll start saying, as seen on these TV shows, because she was a part of it. So there is high leverage in that, even when you're recording your show and you're inviting people feel the buzz, they feel the excitement, they feel, I don't know if you've ever been a part of this, but having worked in celebrity environments a lot of years and been to a lot of things, you see where if someone just thinks you're famous, they don't even have to know your name, the show, they're like, I want to go get a picture with that person. I don't know who it is. We're going to look it up later. Guy on Heroes, girl on, and we just, if they think you're an influencer. And so that's kind of that game changer of your coming from the place trying to sell people on your idea versus them trying to get in where they can fit in and understand who you are and all of that. So
I see it every day. it's,
right.
it's so funny, and I'm not saying this being grandiose, but it's like when I hear people say, "Hey, John, I used to watch you play," and they probably didn't know me before they saw someone else say something, on this. So I understand exactly that feel when that comes from this, that comes from this for everybody, and naturally, like you keep making a reference of Perla, she's practically going to be a household name, very shortly off of a clip, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then she's taken what she learned filming on the set with you guys, and she started telling stories on her social media in a similar way. And I see that like popping off, which is really, really fun. Now, back to Perla. I wanted to find something because earlier you said big personality. And
Yes.
so all the big personalities, you're a big freaking personality. But what if someone's going, but what if I'm not a big personality, but what I do makes a big impact? Or is that someone that maybe should be a co-star on a show, or is there still place for them?
There is, and actually, it's interesting because we did another show on outside of the divas, but related to the divas, with a mind, body, and soul coach, female coach. And so, in that particular situation, we honed more in on what it is that she's doing, right? And let that part be the dominating factor to offset her personality, right? So we dug more into her as this therapist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it resonated on camera. So it doesn't always have to be this big, mind-blowing personality. If there's a story, and it's a compelling story, I can make you look like a star. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the magic of it. Or I can make it compelling enough, or we can make it compelling enough where the audience still wants to follow you and follow your journey within the content within the show.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And in there, you focus on the drama and the excitement is the
There you
transformation
go.
of the person and where they started versus so the coach is doing their work, and that actually works because people want to. Not everybody's a coach, but people to call to her own people. They get to see these different experiences of breakthrough and see themselves in that chair.
And that talent, and that's what you're alluding to earlier. So it does actually. So then, let's just say her personality is not at the highest, but then her clients, all of a sudden they become the compelling story and what they're going through and some of the challenges and different things and how that person as the trainer or the coach engages with them to bring that out, right? There's an art to that, there's an art for a therapist to be able to bring certain things out of the client, so yes, it's a lot of ways we can do it. So you don't have to be that. You could just be yourself, on it. We're going to find it. If it's there, we're going to find it. Trust that.
Awesome. Okay, so we're about to our commercial break where we share how to join the Diva Network and the things that we have going on right now, and then we go into a little bit of networking. John, what is one final thing you want to share with business owners, founders? That's what this room is full of: driven, inspiring, visionary, authentic leaders. They're either far in their business, beginning, they have a nonprofit, they're visionary and they're driving, and they're have messages that make an impact when they're received well. So, what advice do you have?
Well, I know I'm in the room with a bunch of successful, established people, but that drive and determination every morning and that desire for the challenge of growing is what I use every day. That's my motivation every day. I never get too comfortable in here. I'm always open to learning more and understanding more. And I'm just really bent on the challenge every morning. I want something to feed it, and that might be from my athletic side, at wanting to be the best, but that's my inspiration. And that's what I usually tell people is that, another thing is that we're all going to go through the storm before we see the sunshine. For me, every time there's been a major hurricane, typhoon, whatever it is, that the aftermath has really turned out real well.
So good, so good. And so, um, Christine, what I'm thinking is sometime in the next few weeks, we'll figure it out. Those of you who have an interest in having your own show or being on a show will do a special workshop. So you can look at, okay, what would my show be like? And make sure that you have some of those pillars. And Christine goes and flies into all of them. I'll fly in on any of the Diva Network shows that end up getting done. But we can kind of just have a workshop around what does it look like? What does it take? And then that is the way, if they want to collaborate with you, John, is to work with us, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, because you guys are going to guide them to get them to the point where we can actually go into production.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, John. Give it up for John Askew. We'll bring him back into a members only Q&A soon. Thank you for your time, and we just appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for everybody listening to my few minutes of a spiel.